Hello and welcome. I am the Heir of Carthage, and I'm glad you're here today in Age of Empires 4. I'm going to be giving you a kind of tips video here. Now, I'm a beginner at this game. I'm trying to improve, and I can show you a way that you can improve here. We're going to be doing a fast raid strategy. I'll explain more of that in a moment. But right now, we're on screen. You're going to notice the very first thing I did when I started the game is I got my villagers gathering food from the sheep. I'm going to immediately get my scout, and I'm going to start bringing more sheep back. Sheep are going to be our food source. We need food to train more villagers. Your town center needs to be training more villagers at all times in order for this strategy to work best. Okay, so what is the strategy we're going for? Well, I have a slow second here. You can see I actually started building a house here as well, so that I don't hit a population cap. So make sure you don't forget that. I'm going for a fast raid strategy. All these RTS games, like Age of Empires 4 and others, are really built around which player can get the best economy going early. And in order to keep your economy that's best, it's best to be attacking your enemy. If you attack the enemy economy and slow them down, or if they lose units, that means they're losing resources. This is a numbers game, and you need to stay in the lead. So in order to do that fast, we need to rush to the Second Age. As France, we can't recruit any military units in the Dark Age, which is this 1 up at the top of the screen that indicates the Roman numeral 1 there. You'll notice I sent one villager up to build a mine, and I have another one gathering gold. You need 400 food and 200 gold to advance. And then as the French, who I happen to play as, their first landmark building, one of the ones I can pick, is actually a building that operates as a stable as well, which means I can start training light cavalry. Light cavalry move very quickly. I can get them across the map. I can chase and harass enemy villagers. By killing or harassing enemy villagers, my economy will go on top, and I will gain the victory, right? So that's the basic strategy here. And again, it's going to be foundational that you get the sheep, use the sheep to put more villagers, build one house, get your mine out on the gold mine, and make sure you're timing this to where you get your 400 food at roughly the same time you're going to get your 200 gold. And then you get a couple of villagers building the landmark, and you need to start sucking in more food, and then you need to start sucking in some wood as well, because we're going to need just a little bit of wood in order to train our early troops to go harass the enemy. I suggest you use hotkeys here. H will take you to your town center and other landmark buildings, and then if you select your scout like I have here, I pushed Control 1 when I had him selected. And so now I've got him on the group 1. Doesn't mean I'm going to do a perfect job of using those hotkeys here. I'm still trying to train myself, but that's another tip that will make you a better player at this game is use those hotkeys. Get used to it. It will save time. Time is money. Money is victory. So here we go. We're already headed to the feudal age. I'm just playing against an intermediate AI, so this is not a, great, but this is a great way to train if you're new to the game. Just come in against that intermediate AI and train like this, and then as you get better, you can up the difficulty, and of course you can always play against other players or friends or other stuff too to train, but I like the intermediate AI as a training partner just for this early game because it does what I need it to do early on, which is just exist, and to give me a decent race into the feudal age so that I can test myself and see whether or not I can beat it. You'll notice that I'm hoarding just a little bit of wood here. I think I need about 10 wood per light cavalryman. I don't know why you need wood. I guess just make a spear the cavalrymen, but we're gonna need food. I've got plenty of sheep here, so my sheep gathering went extremely well. I'm considering whether or not to build the lumber camp. That's kind of up to you. It will help you gather faster, but since my villagers are pretty close to the town hall, I'm just gonna ignore the lumber camp for a moment in order to try and hoard some more wood because I really want to produce fast. I got lucky here and found even more sheep. This is gonna just vary game to game, so I'm gonna pull these back immediately. Because right now I'm just fueling a ton of food off of all these sheep. So don't neglect your scout going out and shepherding in those sheep early in the game. It is absolutely critical. Here's my second house. You'll notice that I'm building the house at about 1 or 2 right before the population cap. In enough time, I don't need my town center at any time to stop training villagers. I probably won't be perfect at that in this episode, but the more perfect you get at keeping your town center producing, the better, okay? So far, so good. Everything's going according to plan. As soon as that landmark building gets done, I'm going to use it to train 5 light cavalrymen, or as many as I can train based on the resources I have, as quickly as I can. While those are training, I'm going to be queuing up more villagers, and I'm going to keep producing with those villagers. And I'm also going to start bringing in stone as soon as I'm able to. And the reason being is if we're successful at harassing the enemy settlement and killing villagers and taking away money from them, we want to be rushing our second town center so that we can double up the production of villagers and really get ahead of our enemy, right? So this is all about using this situation to your advantage to just get your economy blowing past theirs. And if you can get a good economy, a lot of times you can win in these games, especially against the AI, for sure. So there's my first few units training. I got some light cavalry. You can see me staying busy. I'm going to keep villagers going after food and wood, the basic necessities that I need here to continue to train those light cavalry. And you need to keep an eye right there next to where the population cap is near the bottom left. It'll tell you if you have any idle villagers. Click that button. Again, there's a hot button for it too. I forget it at the moment, but use that hot button. And see, like right now, I've got an idle villager just standing there. It's a mistake. You can't do this if you want to be perfect. And you probably do need to be perfect, but I'm scouting ahead. My enemy just reached the feudal age. I'm going to come do a little harassment. Now, the AI town center is your worst enemy with this harassment because it can shoot arrows at you and it can kill your early units rather easily because they won't have any armor. But you see here, I just drove them off their gold. I'm not going to pursue them and get killed. But I am going to harass them a little. I did lose one unit. Probably shouldn't have done that. But I'm going to go back and regather my forces. But see, that right there has stopped my opponent from being able to gather gold momentarily. And that's huge. Again, this is a game of resources. Whoever's going to resource the best is going to win. You'll notice I'm coming up close to a population cap again. I've got a good supply of wood coming in. I've got a solid supply of food coming in. I'm able to keep churning out villagers, and I'm able to keep churning out horsemen. And I'm going to keep sending these horsemen to the other side of the map. And now I am in the driver's seat. See here, I beat my opponent to that age. I got cavalry on the field. I'm across the map. And now I'm in the driver's seat because I'm harassing. And my opponent is now reacting. And they're going to be losing resources in time as long as I continue to harass them effectively. Now, I know I need another house, so I'm going to go ahead and queue that up. I'm a little bit late here, and you need to stay ahead of that better than I did, because now my villager production is going to slow down. Anyway, I got 5 cavalrymen over here. I'm going to go and look for those villagers. Again, I don't want to chase them all the way close to the town center and get killed, so I'm going to kind of circle around the enemy settlement. I'm going to look for openings, so don't get suicidal, but see, like, look, I circled around, patience pays off, here's another villager. If I kill this villager, they lose 50 food. And so there they go. They just lost 50 food and the ability to collect. So I'm going to keep circling around. Look, here's the berry bushes. Boom, there's their villagers. So I'm going to get a quick shot at them. Now they can't gather food. I'm going to fall back. I'm not going to let that town center just kill me. And meanwhile, you can see I'm just going to cycle back and forth. I'm going to keep my villagers busy. I'm going to make sure that I'm still producing villagers, and I'm going to make sure I'm still producing cavalry. So you can see me cycling back again. I'm not perfect on my timing. I should be using hotkeys here. I'm not. Look, they sent 1 light horseman against my 5. So they're going to lose more food here. I think that's like 60, 70 food and 10 wood. So they just lost more resources right there. So see, and every resource they lose is just going to put me a step ahead of them. And now there's no one here to guard their archery range. So I'm going to start attacking their archery range. You can see I'm queuing up more horsemen to move across the map. And then when I get the chance, I'm going to start queuing up villagers on the next task. I need to get stone. I'm a little bit slow right now, but my stone is starting to roll in. And I'm starting to get ready to rush to a second town center. I'm staying ahead of my population cap. So see, now my enemy is totally defensive. I'm going to sit here and spar with them back and forth, a little back and forth. I have more horsemen moving across the map. I've got more horsemen being trained. They just got an archer out. You can see that now they're just having to work to try and stay ahead. But the work I'm doing, they're losing. And so this is how you can get ahead and stay ahead of your opponent early, as long as you're not in a treaty game. Obviously, if you're in a treaty game, this is different, because you cannot pursue combat until a certain timer has allotted. You can see I've got my idle villagers. I'm going to check that as best I can from time to time. I really should be doing better. Time to send my villagers off to gather berries, and I'm going to train more villagers. I've got cavalry training. I'm a little too close to the enemy town center there, and I've lost some horsemen, but overall, still very effective harassment at the moment. So I'm going to keep my horsemen training, and again, I'm moving them across the map. I'm going to use the shift button to queue up movement orders for them, and you can click on that mini-map, give them movement orders, and you can kind of keep things flowing so that you can keep your micro together. Here they sent some villagers out because they desperately need the resources out there, but they can't get to them. So I'm going to, again, keep their villagers from producing, and now I'm going to start burning down their archery range again. So I've really got these guys messed up. They can't come attack me because all the focus is on their territory, and right now my economy is outgrowing them, and I'm going to gain the victory. So this is essentially now effectively my game. I'm not going to beat them entirely here in the next minute or two, but now I'm in control. I'm going to win this game unless I screw up, or unless the enemy pulls an amazing comeback of some sort. But hopefully this was helpful. So this is how you can do an early rush. Again, I'm practicing with the intermediate AI. Players are going to be better. The higher tier AI is better, but it's okay. If you're new like me, spend your time here early. Get the rhythm down. I had to restart, a bunch of times over the last day or so while I was working on this, and I'm going to keep restarting, and I'm going to keep getting better at it until I can do good. The early game is absolutely critical. See, look, now I've got them outnumbered in this fight. They're going to lose more resources here. So now every time they come out here to defend themselves, they're just losing more and more resources, and I'm getting further and further ahead. So again, this works. Take your time, practice it, get those sheep in. Get a couple of villagers on gold early. Remember, it's 400 food, 200 gold. Rush into that feudal age. Get the light horsemen. Get across the map. Make sure your town center's producing new villagers at all times. Start the harassment, and then don't stop. Just stay ahead of your enemy like that, and you'll do well. Anyway, hopefully this was helpful to you all. HeirofCarthage signing up for now. Do hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you here again. If this was helpful to you, hit the like button. If not, hit the dislike button. I don't know, curse me out in the comments. Or actually, don't curse, but you can actually go after me in the comments if you think I did a bad job. And of course, if you enjoyed it, make sure and hit the like button if you think I deserve it. Anyway, see you soon with some more action in Age 4.